Hello and welcome to Feldspar Television's productions of conspiracy books and books of the weird. I'm going to do a little bit of a book review here. I enjoy conspiracy books like these two here. The thing about conspiracies for me is it's mostly entertainment, but as a historian I kind of enjoy some of the threads that go in and out of real-life events that I've been watching, pursuing. To make a conspiracy succeed, you have to take whatever is normal and give it a sinister edge, and that's what makes people nervous. And people are still very superstitious, you know, and they'll pretty much believe anything. Now, the first two books are actually very good. They're by the same guy, Richard Sauter. First one's Underground Bases and Tunnels, and the next one is Underwater and Underground Bases. I like these pretty much until you get to the UFO part. I've never bought into the whole UFO mythology. I think that's just a cover for Defense Department experiments. I remember when the U-2 was flying years ago that people thought that was a UFO, and it wasn't until like the 70s that they suddenly realized that this mysterious flying craft was actually an experimental plane. This guy, Sauter, he is very good. He has stuff that can be fact-checked, again, until you get to the UFO stuff. But if you want to learn something about the underground bases, headquarters, tunnels, and that sort of thing, this is the place to go. Next up is the 60 greatest conspiracies of all time. People use these numbers, you know, put a quantity on there. I think that's kind of a marketing technique. Now, this one by Vankin and Whalen is pretty good. It's kind of like an intro to conspiracies. You know, you could read it one chapter at a time or cover to cover. Here's a story about the October surprise, and that would be the election of 1980, where some people thought that the Iranian hostage situation was exploited to the advantage of Reagan. So that discusses that. You know, flying saucers are in here, classified secrets, all sorts of little things. So this one's not too bad. This one here, The Conspiracy Reader, this is Al Hildell and Joan d'Arc from Paranoia magazine. This one is actually pretty good. I've read this one over and over. They tend to put a little bit more information in here than they have to, but it's kind of nice because most of the conspiracy books tend to be like half a page or 3 pages at the most. All sorts of stuff about diamonds, Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, just all sorts of stuff. Project Monarch, you know, MK Ultra, things like that are fun. This next one here, the Dictionary of the Khazars, is not really a conspiracy book. It's not really a truly weird book, but it's one I kind of enjoy. It's a lexicon novel by Pavich, and they tell you right on the top here, the cover, that there's actually 2 editions of the book. There's a male version and the female version of the book, and the only difference between the 2 editions is one paragraph is crucially different, and it's up to you to figure out what paragraph that is. But I enjoy this because it goes into, they talk about dreams a lot and flying through dreams and controlling things through dreams. Now, this next one is The Occult by Colin Wilson. I enjoy the Wilsons. I picked up this book because it was, I recognized the author and I thought it might be interesting, and it's a little bit more into the, you know, the whole magic thing, you know, and if you're into like witchcraft, you know, and things like that, you might be interested in that. So that's kind of on the weird side of things. This one here is a pretty old book. The People's Almanac, Walachensky and Wallace. This is a book you can read from cover to cover or little chapters, but they have stuff in here like predictions and they do book reviews and things like that. Talking about archaeology and stuff like that. There's a listing of all the nations. This came out in the very late 70s or the very early 80s and is a good read. This next one, The Mammoth Encyclopedia of the Unsolved. This is probably my favorite of the entire collection that I have. I have maybe 2 feet of conspiracy books, weird books on the shelves. Again, it's Colin Wilson, Damon Wilson, Mammoth Encyclopedia of the Unsolved. They cover Atlantis, Bigfoot, Crystal Skulls, Jack the Ripper, the Loch Ness Monster, poltergeists, and zombies. And they're talking about the undead, not a bar drink. In here, one of my favorite stories, one of my favorite chapters is Synchronicity or Mere Coincidence. The man by the name of Jung, who was into psychology, psychiatry, that sort of thing, he coined the term synchronicity, and this book is wonderful because it goes into quite a bit of detail. And in this chapter, he lists many, many examples of synchronicity and coincidence, and discusses, is this something that's like out there, like a hidden emotion or a hidden sense, or is this kind of like a mathematical progression or something like that? So I recommend this, and there's all sorts of things in here. Mystery, hypnosis, alchemy. Was Philip K. Dick possessed by an angel? If you like Philip K. Dick, it's got a nice little chapter on Philip K. Dick. This one here, The Unexplained, here right at the cover, we have 347 strange sightings, incredible occurrence, and puzzling physical phenomena. Try using the word phenomena 3 times in your morning conversation at work. See how that works. So obviously the 347 is a marketing gimmick. This one, okay, Errant Kangaroos. It's got plenty of information, but I would consider this entry level, but it's kind of sparse on the information, so you have to, if you're into this stuff, yeah, you'd probably want to get it. It would be interesting, but if you're only going to buy one book, it might not be the one for you. The Encyclopedia of Unsolved Mysteries, again, the two Wilsons, they wrote a really great book here. Again, what they do with their books is they put a lot of energy and information into their books. The Voynich manuscript, the Money Pit, the Mona Lisa. Was the real Mona Lisa really stolen and never returned, or is the real Mona Lisa still at the Louvre? Shroud of Turin, Bigfoot, and Atlantis, of course. So I heartily recommend this one. The next one up is kind of rare. The Yankee and a Cowboy War, Conspiracies from Dallas to Watergate by Oglesby. The idea here is that the United States is controlled by 2 factions that are constantly fighting each other. The Cowboy faction is out of Texas, the Yankee faction is out of Massachusetts, and they fight for control of the world. And there's some interesting stuff in here, secret stuff, the JFK assassination, Howard Hughes, the Watergate plane crash. That one is worth it just to get this book. So it's a little more on the arcane, but if you're into this sort of thing, yeah, this would be a good read. The next one, Secret and Suppressed by Jim Keith, is Banned Ideas and Hidden History, from the publisher of Apocalypse Culture. Here's a good chapter. It's about Behold the Pale Horse, and it's the story of what's called the Octopus Conspiracy. So if you're into conspiracy theories, there's a lot of conspiracy theories. There was a guy who came up with the concept that there is one master conspiracy theory, that all other conspiracy theories are subordinate to this main conspiracy theory. And the guy died in his bathtub, and they say that he committed suicide, but a lot of people think he was suicided. Here's some Freemason stuff. They keep picking on the Freemasons, in this world. Sorcery, paranoia, remote mind control. And then these chapters are pretty long, so they got a lot of information here. Here's a neat one. Again, it's the Walachinski's and Wallace's The Book of Predictions, again from the very late 70s or early 80s. This one, it has like seers and prophecy, but it also has stuff like engineers who make predictions. And I really enjoy the seers chapter, and I don't know if I can find it right now, but what I've done is, in the last 30 years or so, I've actually gone back and I've marked up the book. Here's a Here's one that somebody was saying that Yasser Arafat would become the president of Palestine, and that actually happened in 1994. So some guy predicted that at least 20 years ahead of time. So there's great information in here. On this page I got it all marked up with stuff that did come true for this one guy. So this is an enjoyable one. Again, you could read it chapter by chapter or read it cover to cover. Here we have History's Greatest Conspiracies by Jeffers, 100 plots. So again, a quantitative marketing tool here. This covers pretty much the same stuff. First chapter I pull up is the Manson family. You know, if you could get a story going with the Mansons, UFOs, and the Nazis all together, you could make $1 million. CIA and the overthrow of the government of Iran, that would be the Shah of Iran back then. This is sort of an entry-level book. The chapters are a little on the short side, but it does cover some of the stuff that the other books have not yet. This one here is It's a Conspiracy. This is one of my favorites. It's from the National Insecurity Council. The Shocking Truth About America's Favorite Conspiracy Theories, stuff about JFK, Elvis, Maryland, CIA, Silkwood, Watergate, Malcolm X, the Red Menace, Nazis in America, the October Surprise. So you can see how some of these themes get reoccur across all these different books. So if you're just, you have a notion, you want to read up on some of this stuff, just pick up one of these general books. That's all you're going to need. But if you're really into this stuff, here's a chapter on reefer madness. And if you want to be paranoid, roll up a doob and smoke it before you read this stuff. Killing mass transit. That was that great conspiracy that all the streetcars and trolleys got wiped off the map in order for the big three automakers so they could sell buses and stuff. And the interesting thing is as far as a conspiracy theory, it might not be so much a theory as it is a fact. Keith really does a good job in here, and he does some analysis, and he looks at it with some critical thinking, and I enjoy it. Great chapter. Who was Oswald? Not was there a conspiracy or so much as what was Oswald? Was he replaced when he was in Russia? Cute little book, Strange But True by Kenner and Miller. Paranormal People, Miraculous Healings, Travels Through Time, Guardian Angels, Ghost Apparitions, and Creatures of the Spirit Realm. Use realm in your typical office conversation someday. Go into work and say, refer to your realm. You'll notice right away that the chapters are extremely sparse, but there is a lot of information in here, and it is fairly well written. So again, this would be kind of like an entry-level one. This one here, The Source, it's by Art Bell and Brad Steiger. Art Bell runs a radio show, and I actually access his website from time to time. And it's called The Source, Journey Through the Unexplained, Old Testament Predictions, Out-of-Body Experiences, UFO Sightings, Government Conspiracy, and Ancient Astronauts. And it's got stuff in here, but I'll be honest with you. I can't really tell you why, but this book I really didn't enjoy as a lot of the other books, and I think it might be because by the time I purchased this book, I had already read, a couple dozen other books. So I'm not going to recommend it, but on the other hand, if you see it and you haven't read a conspiracy or a weird book, yeah, you'll get something out of this. This is another one of the newer ones, the cover-ups. The subtitle here is The 100 Most Disturbing Conspiracies of All Time. JFK, 9/11, Da Vinci Code, Area 51, Princess Di, Men in Black, Pearl Harbor, the Illuminati. The Illuminati is like one of those master conspiracies that controls the entire world. I thought it was an electric company, somewhere on the south side of Pittsburgh, but no, it's like a bona fide conspiracy, I guess. The War on Terror, Protocols of the Elders of Zion, which is one of the ancient original conspiracies. I shouldn't say ancient as much as that goes back at least 100 years. Chapters, they go anywhere from 3 pages, to 12 pages. It's a decent book, but again, this book, like the 100 conspiracies or the 60 conspiracies, Or like this next one, The World's 100 Greatest Mysteries. You know, how many times can you read the same stuff over and over again? Floyd wrote this book, The World's 100 Greatest Mysteries, subtitle, Strange Secrets of the Past Revealed. D.B. Cooper is in here. D.B. Cooper is always one of the things that I like to read up on, and I always like reading the updates in the paper. You know, they're getting close to this guy, they're not getting close. The Ghost of Flight 401, the Lindbergh Tragedy, the Sargasso Sea, Nostradamus, Cosmic Invaders, Ancient Footprints in Stone. This one does cover some other stuff that's not covered in these other books that are like the 100 or the 60. So, you know, if you come across this one, this does have a very good spectrum of weirdness. This one here, Conspiracy, Lies, and Hidden Agendas by Farron, subtitled Our Deepest Secret Fears from the Antichrist to the Trenchcoat Mafia. Very good book, and what I like here is they have these little picture graphs which you can follow from story to story to look for a common theme. Now, the chapters are on the short side. Here's 4 on these 2 pages. But if you follow the picture graphs, that'll take you to the next one. So you can read it cover to cover, or you can read it by following the threads. Strange But True, Mysterious and Bizarre People by Thomas Sleeman. I had this one marked just the other day for Edgar Allan Poe, and here's the Zodiac Killer. This one is more biography than, you know, truly weirdness, but it's weird people, so it's kind of like biographies of weird people or people who had weirdness, and I will give this a definite A+. Mysteries, Prophecies of Nostradamus. This is one of my older books here. Now, Nostradamus, he was like a broken clock. He could be right twice a day, or you could see him as a horoscope guy, which is pretty much what he did. So I don't put much stock in him. But what is neat about this book is they have almost all the quatrains. A quatrain is a 4-lined verse. On the left side of the page you have it in the original French, the way Nostradamus wrote it. On the right side you have the actual English translation, and then there's an analysis of this, and they're good enough to be critical thinkers and say this might be or it may be, you know, they themselves don't know. This one here is Underground Disinformation Guide to Ancient Civilizations, Astonishing Archaeology and Hidden History. It's edited by Preston Pete. This one does not have a recommendation. It's a little too over complex for me. It's hard to follow. It's boring is really what it comes down to. It might have the problem some of those other books. I read this after I read like another 24 volumes. The Unexplained by Clark. Strange Sightings, Incredible Occurrences, Puzzling Physical Phenomena. Chock full of information, but again, you know, if you're only going to buy one conspiracy book, you know, you're going to have to choose among the 8 that cover pretty much all the same thing. Here's a neat chapter about airships, and there's a whole surge of sightings of like blimps over the United States and Europe back into the 1880s and 1890s, well before anybody had perfected airships. But the editors of the paper, you know, got the witnesses, verified, and they claimed that all this happened. So it's interesting. Unexplained Mysteries of the 20th Century by Janet and Colin Board. True Accounts, Phone Calls from the Dead. That's never a good time. Religious Visions, Sea Monsters, organic matter falling from the sky. Winged People. I wonder if they have monkeys in there too. And Spontaneous Human Combustion. I had an aunt who spontaneously human combusted, but she'd been drinking a lot of vodka, and she was using gasoline as perfume. So when she lit up a cigarette, she also blew out all the walls in her room. This last one, Robert Anton Wilson, Everything is Under Control, Conspiracies, Cults, and Cover-Ups. Again, a very good read. They refer to where they got the information from in the first place. The chapters are short, but they also have the thread follower here. You can refer to other stuff in the threads. Now that's all I got for you today. I hope I can steer you in some good directions. Enjoy yourself and keep watching, and we'll have some more weirdness coming soon.